Conspiracy theories, eh? Wait till you get a load of this. Hello, y'all, and welcome to Crack Sisters Conspiracies. We are a podcast that covers conspiracy theories, mysteries, and all over spooky shit. My name is Cassandra.
And my name's Jackie.
And we are said sisters.
What's up?
Nothing.
You sound sick.
I feel like I'm fighting something off. I woke up with like a bit of a sore throat and don't feel 100% today. But I also chalked that up to having to, do my civil duty and go to jury duty. But who knows?
What an idiot.
I know. But it's like a split schedule. So there's an AM and a PM session. So I got there at like 1 and then they sent us all home at 2:30. So
oh, there you go.
I mean, I almost died driving out there. The weather is absolutely horrendous in Ventura, and I almost crashed on the freeway. But
of course you did. I know it's pretty bad today.
Yeah, I feel like the rain has followed me. By the time I left the courthouse, it was raining sideways and hailing, so I was soaked and freezing. It was no bueno.
And I was telling Alex that you were dumb enough to get stuck with jury duty. And that I am sad that I don't have jury duty.
You're not sad. You are not sad. But you do enough for our community. I feel
like it'd be cool. I never got to. I got called for jury duty once, and then obviously they never called my number or whatever, so I never got put on a case. Mom gets put on a case like every year because she gets jury duty every single year.
I get summoned all the time. I've only been into a courtroom once. The rest of the time it's just spent sitting at an airport. It's fucking airport seating, and you just read a book for 8 hours. Well,
yeah, that's true.
4 hours now, but
I know Alex specifically will not register to vote because he doesn't want to be put on the list.
Yeah, so
jury duty.
They said that they added actually a third source. So it's driver's license, it's voter registration, and now franchise tax board filers. So people who own businesses and stuff. So that sucks.
Well, good thing he doesn't own a business.
No, but they're just trying to cast a wider net, I guess, and inconvenience everyone.
Yeah, because he's never had it because you're exempt, I guess, when you're in the military.
I'm assuming it's the same reason why you're exempt if you're law enforcement or you work for the government.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Alrighty, well, speaking of the government, you can't talk about government without conspiracy theories, which is, something that we chat about quite regularly.
It is.
So this episode's topic is about Alex Jones, this awful, awful human being, and his comments in connection to the Sandy Hook shooting.
Okay.
And so are you familiar with Mr. Alex Jones at all?
Briefly, yeah.
Okay. Well, yeah, he is the quintessential poster boy for conspiracy theories. If you mention conspiracy theories, Alex Jones has an opinion on it, and he is a gigantic piece of shit. Let me just.
So I've heard.
I have such hatred for this man that I definitely have a biased opinion.
Okay.
But I feel I'm justified in this. But yeah, so this guy, he super alt-right, just kind of a wackadoo. It definitely seems, I'm actually fairly certain I read, whether it's true or not, I read about him having personality disorders, which 100% tracks. But yeah, so he somehow managed to get his own radio show, the Alex Jones Show.
Yes, I did know that.
Yeah, so that's kind of where his crazy started. Someone gave him a soapbox to stand on. Oh my God. He was even syndicated. So it became a thing where people, primarily young men, were kind of creating this feverish following. And he ended up also creating a whole bunch of websites, conspiracy theory related, with the one most notably out there being InfoWars.
Okay.
Are you familiar with that at all?
It sounds familiar.
So, yeah, it mostly promoted conspiracy theories and just all over fake news. I don't know where this shit came from that he would spout off about, but it was just awful. And the more upsetting thing, other than the fact that he is just spewing pure bullshit. Like, it's one thing to like chat about conspiracy theories, it's another to like dangerously use a platform to like incite hate and violence with others, which is ultimately like what he did.
Okay.
But yeah, his InfoWars site was getting over 10 million hits a month from people.
Oh, geez.
And so because of that, it was like the high traffic. So all the click-through ads, like that's how he was making a lot of his money through all of this. And then he started selling like merchandise, which again is just god awful. But yeah, because he is just such a terrible person, over time, he's been banned permanently from Twitter for, you know, just being an abusive, awful human. And other social media platforms have, you know, banned him as well. Like his stuff was pulled off of Spotify and YouTube, and rightfully
Yeah, I did
so.
read that. Yeah, he was banned from, I think, almost every social media platform.
As he should be. Like even Elon Musk is like, no, we're just gonna leave that one, Mr. Free speech, Twitter's for all. He's like, nah, better just let that one go.
There you go.
Yeah, but like back in 2018 or so, some of the people that worked under him while at InfoWars and the Alex Jones show, you know, they came forward and just accused him of anti-Semitism, anti-Black racism. Like he does not like anyone that is not a straight
white male.
Yep. God help you if you are gay, colored, or, you know, look the wrong way. And then there was a lot of sexual harassment claims throughout his, you know, with his working conditions from both male and, you know, female staffers. So just, you know, all around great guy on the surface.
Sounds like it. Okay.
So yeah, like just the spreading of misinformation and hate, that's ultimately what led him to being pulled from all of the social media platforms. But that didn't really like make an impact in his following, which is just really sad, because I can't understand the thought process that drives people to act that way. Just it makes no sense to me.
Yeah, that's maybe where the personality disorder comes in.
Yeah, like he just lives to cause disruption and to hurt others, all to make a buck. Like it is all monetarily driven. Like if he truly believes all of the shit that he spouts, like it's even worse than one would think. But yeah, he is just a disgusting, vile excuse for a human being. And like I said, he just makes me bubble over with rage thinking about it.
Okay.
But yeah, to give you some like kind of context about his thoughts and stuff, like he's one of those wackadoos that he's a 9/11 disbeliever.
Okay.
He feels that it was orchestrated by the government, which I was talking with my daughter Grayson today, who's 7, and she was recently reading about 9/11 and asking me questions because she thought it was a myth or a legend, I think is the word that she said. I'm like, oh, child, no. Like, I don't know about you. Let's see, you were probably in elementary school. Yeah. So I'm like, I very clearly remember where I was when 9/11 happened. Like that was such an atrocity that happened in this country. But yeah, no, apparently the government did it, and it was all a hoax.
I mean, I'm on the fence.
Are you serious?
Not that it didn't happen. Obviously it happened, and you know, a shit ton of people died. I don't necessarily maybe believe it happened the way it was reported that it happened, or for the reasons that it was reported.
So you think maybe there was some like political or government?
I think there was something to it,
involvement, or interesting. This is not something I knew about you.
Oh, it's on the list. I thought that's why you knew it was on the list.
No. Oh, you know what? Honestly, I have not refreshed the list, but it makes sense. But it was also one of the big pushers of that Pizzagate conspiracy that we had talked about.
Oh, yes. The Pizzagate, that episode that no one will ever hear because I don't think I can physically record it a 4th time.
No, I don't think so either. I mean, we got better.
It was a good episode
with each iteration, and there was a lot of interesting information. But yeah, that was the one where essentially it was, you know, the Clintons and people from her administration and the Comet Ping Pong Pizza guy. And a lot of this stuff circles back to like sex crimes with children, which is what he heavily pushes.
Okay.
But you know, that is utter bullshit. Like that just never happened. And he actually ended up apologizing to the owner of that pizza place. But that was, I think, primarily to avoid being sued. So
yeah, well, apparently he didn't learn his lesson.
No. So like one of the other ones, which I just thought was, again, where does this shit come from? But Chobani. Do you know what Chobani is?
The yogurt?
The yogurt company. So they had like a factory in Idaho that he was claiming had connections to child sex assault, and was also surprisingly linked to a rise in tuberculosis cases. I don't know how either of those two things, one, are linked, and two, linked back to Chobani, but that was
Yeah.
something that he was peddling for a while. But again, that was something else that he ended up kind of, pushing the brakes on, backing down a bit, because there was a lawsuit filed against him.
Well, yeah.
Can't fuck around and find out with companies and not expect that to happen. So like, why
Exactly.
even bother? But that's, I guess, what it's like when you're just a piece of scum.
True that.
So like, he's also one of those that thinks lizard people are a thing. Just any crazy wingnut off the cuff craziness that you can think of, like, he is in full support of.
Okay.
But the one that really gets to me though was his response to the Sandy Hook elementary school shooting.
Yes, I figured that's where we were going with this.
Yeah, so just a kind of refresher on that event. I don't know if you remember it. Like, it was definitely something that was on my radar, but not in the same sense that it is now that I'm a parent. But back in December of 2012, there's an elementary school, Sandy Hook Elementary School in Connecticut, and a 20-year-old guy named Adam Lanza who opened fire in an elementary school. He killed 26 people. 20 of those people were children between the ages of 6 and 7 years old.
Jesus.
Yeah, it makes my stomach hurt. And the other 6 people were the adult staff members at that school.
Okay.
And then, so the same guy who opened fire on the school, he had actually shot and killed his own mother.
Prior to, I did know that.
Yeah, that same morning before going to the school. And then, of course, like the fucking coward that he was, he ended up turning the gun and, shot himself and killed himself when first responders were arriving at the school.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, so it is the deadliest elementary school shooting in U.S. history, which is a phrase that should just never be uttered.
I agree.
But it was a planned attack by this kid, or he's not a kid, he was a guy, he was 20 years old, very deeply disturbed, who, there was reports of antisocial behavior. The textbook, it's like, we need to talk about Kevin, that whole... the inner workings of mass shooters, but he was the guy who had access to guns and ammo and had a mass murder obsession, school shooting obsession. And ultimately the reason, or the why behind what he did, isn't really known. They might speculate that it was something that he did because he could have power or have control over the situation, just gunning down a bunch of little kids. But I'm a mother. I am a parent with a kid in that same age range. And it's an unfortunate reality in parents' lives these days. Potential that something like this can happen, like to my own kid, absolutely unfathomable. But it's not an unrealistic possibility, which is the scary thing. And the fact that my small child, since kindergarten, even preschool, they do active shooter drills at school. It's just gut-wrenching.
Yeah.
But so that's kind of the backstory on that fucking tragedy that took the US by storm, so to speak. But this is kind of where Sandy Hook and Alex Jones collide. So Alex Jones, being the asshole that he is, went on to claim that the shooting was fake and that it was a giant hoax, and that it was a false flag operation. That's a phrase that he's used to describe all of these conspiracy theories that he, talks about, that's interchangeable with it's a government, issue that their operation that they perpetuated. And, the reason behind this was it was all for gun control. And it was advocates of the gun control bill just spreading the news, and that no one actually died, and that, no kids died. Everything was staged. And later on, when the lawsuits from the families of the victims came against him, he was claiming that they're all crisis actors, that like they're not real people who experienced this, life altering, gut wrenching tragedy and loss. Like, are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah. I remember when he was denying it.
Mhm.
And I remember, I don't know if it was him specifically or just on social media at the time, but I guess there was like a couple pictures online of this one person that kept being at all the sites of these mass shootings or mass casualty events. And
Okay.
they linked that one person, they called them, I think it was a female, a crisis actor. And so
Yeah.
that was like what perpetuated it partially, was because this one person, how could they be in all these different places at all these different times? So they're like, obviously it's fake, and they just, reuse the same people.
Or it's just a nosy fucking person who gets a high off of following the news tragedy. And
Yeah.
what's that movie with Jake Gyllenhaal, Night Stalker? Like they're going out purposely like searching for all of the shit that's happening. I mean,
I've never
not
seen
the
that.
same, but you've never seen that? Oh, it
No.
was very disturbing. Jake Gyllenhaal does a really great job of making me uncomfortable most of the time.
Oh, there you go.
But on the flip, I don't remember what it was we were watching the other night, but he was like a 911 responder and something. That was
Oh yeah,
interesting.
I watched that movie on a plane. It was not The Call. That's Halle Berry. It was, yeah. I actually, what did you think of that movie? That's name I can't
I
remember.
honestly was only half watching it because I was trying to hate read my way through a book that I had started. So it was like I would read a chapter and then get distracted. It piqued my interest, but I didn't watch the whole thing from start to finish. So I don't know what happened. Like I don't know how it ended, but
I believe he saved the day or something.
I would hope so.
So I remember watching it and I liked it.
Okay. But yeah, I mean, he's hit and miss for me. He can go either way, and usually I'm more creeped out than anything. But
The Guilty, that was the name of it. It's on Netflix.
oh, okay. But yeah, so Alex Jones, this motherfucker has 4 kids. He's got his own kids.
Oh,
And for
wow.
him to be like, nah, didn't happen. No, there was, none of those 20 children died.
Mhm.
They're not really dead. Like, the fuck? But rightfully so. He, as a result of this, was obviously slapped with multiple lawsuits from the families that lost
Yes.
their children.
Defamation lawsuits.
Yeah. And in true fashion, like before the trial even started, he was found in contempt of court and for not being compliant and not, providing information and all of the stuff that was just being requested to get the show going, so to speak.
Mhm.
But again, surprising to no one that he didn't want to cooperate with, all of the lawsuits against him.
Yeah, I read an article that he lashed out because the prosecutor told him to try to act more remorseful, at least. Like he doesn't even have to mean it, but try to act it because the families are present in the courtroom. And he lashed out and was like, don't tell me what to do. This isn't China. You can't force me to, do something. I said I'm sorry already a million times. I'm not saying it anymore. So like move on.
This man clearly has no empathy. Is a
Mhm.
sociopath, just to be able to, with a straight face, and then vehemently defend himself, saying, fuck you, essentially. Like,
Yeah.
I have nothing to be sorry for. And never, while he may have apologized on the surface, he didn't fucking mean it.
Yeah,
Like,
I
he
agree.
doesn't care the hurt that came about it, which, again, sociopath for sure, definitely a
Mhm.
personality disorder. But yeah, so in 2021, as a result of all of these defamation suits being brought against him, like the fines and fees that he was being ordered to pay were stacking up. And so in an attempt to try to start weaseling his way out of paying for shit, he declared bankruptcy.
That's what I thought I read. Yeah, for one or two of his companies did bankruptcy protection.
So a couple of the companies did. He personally filed for
Oh.
bankruptcy. He's like, oh, sorry, I have no money. Even though when he was going to trial, it's like dropping $80,000 on the private jet, wearing his Rolex, and
And he pulled out in 20 something. 2021. Oh, here it is. He withdrew $62 million. And he, with all of his, we'll call it an empire for lack of better terms,
sure,
his net worth was $270 million.
yeah. But all of a sudden, I'm declaring bankruptcy. Sorry,
Oh,
I
yeah.
don't have any money to pay you. So yeah, last August, he was ordered to pay almost $50 million in initial compensatory and punitive damages.
But that was just to one family, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was just for a
Mhm.
small subset. And then in October, he was ordered to pay $965 million in
Yep.
damages to the victims' families, which I mean is not enough in my opinion. Like
No.
his blood, sweat, tears, and skin and bones would still not be enough to satisfy that. But
Mhm.
and this is still an ongoing thing. He doesn't want to pay, and he is actively in the news. Like even just a few days ago, it's coming up. Like he's trying to move assets around, like sending money to family members and trying to offload it just as a way to circumvent having to pony up and pay the damages,
What a
which
piece of shit. Like, if you're going to have such a strong stance on something like that, why not fucking take it all the way in? Why not be like, yep, I still don't believe it's real. I stand by what I said. I'll pay these people, but I still have my beliefs. Instead of fake apologizing, trying to make a lawsuit go away, and then, oops, now he got caught with his pants down. Well, I still don't want to own up to it. So I'm just going to hide all this money or move all this money or declare bankruptcy so I don't have to pay these people. Like, if you're gonna fucking do it, bro. Like, don't be a
yeah.
bitch.
No, he is a total coward.
Yeah.
But like these fucking people need to get paid. It is the absolute least that can happen considering that their lives have been forever ruined.
Mhm.
I unfortunately am not super confident that they'll get anywhere near what they should
No.
from the suit. But I mean, something has to happen, and he absolutely needs to be in ruin because of it. I mean,
Mhm.
I can only hope that Mr. Alex Jones meets his demise, whether it's financially, socially, or I mean, or physically. Am I allowed to say that? Am I going to get in trouble?
I mean, that's like not the greatest thing to say, but
I
there's
mean,
three people listening. It's fine.
I don't wish him well at all. I wish
That's
him the
fine.
very opposite of well, and I
There you
hope
go.
you burn in hell.
But for legal reasons, she has no purpose, motive, or present ability to kill anyone.
No, I just wish nothing but the worst in life for him
Yeah, there
because
you go. That's
he is
fine.
an awful, awful human.
Mhm.
But yeah, so that is kind of a Cliff's Notes download of the Mr. Alex Jones and, you know, his involvement as far as the comments and the lawsuits go with regard to Sandy Hook.
Okay.
So yeah, on the cracked rating scale, like really just kind of not focusing on him as a person, but focusing on the whole Sandy Hook portion of it where he's claiming that it never happened, that it was a
Mhm.
hoax, certifiably cracked. That is
Agree.
just absolutely fucking bullshit. And, need to put a dash of fuck that guy in there. Just, I cannot express to you how much I despise this person.
I'm
So,
starting
and
to get that
calling him a
feeling.
person. What was that?
I said, I'm starting to get that feeling.
Right? Just a little bit. Can you feel it through the screen?
I
But
can. And when
yeah.
I was doing my tiny bit of research on this, I saw that one of his examples of proof for the Sandy Hook being faked was
Uh-huh.
one of the victims was a 6-year-old girl named Emily Parker.
Okay.
And so she was killed. And I guess a couple days after, or maybe a week after, President Obama came down and did like a speak with the families kind of thing in order to give his condolences and whatnot. And there was a photo of him and the Parker family, and there was a little girl wearing the same dress that Emily had been wearing, I guess, when she was killed. And so I don't know if it was Alex Jones's specific that perpetuated this, but I'm just going to say he did because why not?
Sure.
So he said that, oh, obviously that girl is Emily. She's in the picture. She didn't die. That's proof that this never happened. And the family's like, that's her sister. We got
Right?
her the same dress because she wanted to be like her sister. And, if this was faked, why would the literal president of the United States not know better than to cover it up and not pose with the person that's allegedly dead? Like, that makes no fucking sense. And it was just a lot of shit like that.
Because
Or
he's a fucking
families would
idiot.
go, sorry, go ahead.
I said he's a fucking idiot. That's what it
He
is.
is. Or families would, when they finally spoke out about the incident and how it's affected them, I guess one person like went to take like a breath and did like a smirk or something, and they go, oh well, obviously it's an actor and he just broke character for a second and now he's back into it, so that's again proof. And like, it's just stupid shit like that was the basis of a lot of this conspiracy theory and people following with what he was saying.
Right. Yeah, like one of the only good things that came from this, and I mean that's even a stretch, but his fucking wife left him, where as she rightfully should. Like I don't have a whole lot of sympathy for her, and she's still also a garbage person because like she was there from the beginning with the
Yeah.
start of Alex Jones show and InfoWars and all of that. But once all the Sandy Hook nonsense came about, she's like, I better cut my ties and just fuck right off.
Have his kids ever spoken out about him, either in regards to this or any of his other controversial conspiracy theories?
Not that I know of, but I wasn't really focusing on his.
Okay, just curious. Like if that was my dad, I would either make it abundantly clear that I want nothing to do with this,
right,
or the opposite, I guess.
But some dumb bitch decided to marry this guy. I think it was like 2017, and they're still married. So he's on his second wife. But
okay,
yeah, apparently that ain't going too well. Like I was reading an article about some leaked texts of his, and he just seems like he's cuckoo bananas. Like engaging with people, trying to get them to spy on his wife, to know what she's doing at any given time because he's convinced that she's having an affair.
Yeah, he sounds like a very paranoid person.
He is, but also the flip side is that there was proof in those texts that he was having his own affair. So guilty is as guilty does. But
an idiot.
Yeah, so that's what Mrs. Jones 2.0 is dealing with. But again, I have no fucking sympathy for anyone who willingly aligns himself or him or herself with him. Themselves, that's the word. But yeah, and like we could make a whole episode just on him. Like he was involved with, the Donald Trump election and all that, and the Proud Boys, but that's another topic of conversation. But just in general, he's fucking awful.
Agreed.
I am exhausted now. That riled me up and then sapped what little energy I have. I do think I'm fighting something off.
You sound today's a little bit more calm as compared to last week's episode. So
yeah, well, I'm also drinking hot tea instead of an alcoholic beverage.
Yeah, I started drinking late because I thought I was coming over to your house at 7.
Oh,
so I'm like, I don't want to start drinking until I get there because the rain and someone's gonna crash into me and it's gonna be my fault. But then I'm like, oh shit, now I'm really behind on drinking. So
sorry. Yeah, I should have.
Oh, that's okay.
Yeah, I'm like, I don't want to fucking leave the house. No one needs to be driving in this right now.
No. This has been a long fucking week. My week literally felt like it was 3 weeks long.
It's only Tuesday.
My week is done. I work Saturday through Tuesday.
That is true. I know this is a short but busy week.
Yeah.
Like I only have 2 more days of work this week, and I worked from home half the day today, and I'm on vacation starting Friday. Like I get back Monday.
That's right. So where are you going? What are you doing?
We're going to San Diego. Gracie's never been, so we're taking a family trip down there. We're going to do the zoo, go to the Midway, and just fuck around in Balboa Park, eat ungodly amounts of food, and spend ridiculous amounts of money on trinkets and souvenirs to make the child happy. But
you better make sure one of those trinkets / souvenirs is a pressed penny for me, because I don't believe I have one from San Diego.
Oh, okay. Well, that should be easy to remember because she, we have to get her pressed pennies. She's got a whole collection going, so I'll make sure we grab another one for Auntie Jack there.
Beautiful.
Okay, so yeah, next weekend we will not be recording anything specifically. We'll probably have to do a delayed.
Well, that's fine because I'm going camping on Friday.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, so that we'll use this as our rest week, so to speak. So you go camping Friday. You guys are home Saturday.
Yeah, it's just an overnight camp trip.
Okay. Yeah, I haven't talked to Mom about checking in on Denny. We might just leave like a bunch of food and water and like let him fend for himself.
No, she said she wanted him over at her house.
Did she? Oh, okay. So we haven't like revisited it, and there was a bit of a debacle with that fucking rug. And
you want to hear about the rug? Because it's not fucking over yet.
Are you fucking kidding me? Like, oh my God. Like
2 days ago, it's like 7:30. I'm about to fall asleep. And I get this really long text from Mom, and she goes, hey, I have a present for you. You need to come by the house and get this fucking rug. And so I call her. I'm like, why do you have my rug? You were supposed to take it to the dump. And she goes, no one told me there was a rug. She goes, so you guys, you sneak it in there. She goes, it's massive. She goes, we can't fit our shit in there with the rug. She's like, so we kick it out, we put all of our stuff in, and then we're like, I guess we'll throw it on top. She goes, I couldn't lift the rug. She goes, Dad and I together couldn't lift the rug. I go, oh, I know. It's so fucking heavy. I said I had to have Cassie come over and help me put it in the fucking trash can.
I have moved
like, so
that
what did you
twice now.
I know. So I'm like, so what did you do with it? She goes, it's just in the driveway. She goes, you need to come get it. I'm like, okay, but I need help because I cannot lift it because that rug is magical and it weighs 8 trillion pounds. And so I guess her and Dad were able to somehow maneuver it behind the gate because they were worried the HOA would come by and give them a nastygram.
Sure.
So I said, okay, it sounds like Alex's problem because he comes down on Thursday night and then we have to go pick up the camper anyway. So I'm like, he'll just throw it in your trash can, the correct trash can.
Oh
and
my
then
God.
Maybe we can get rid of this fucking rug.
I know.
It's been a pain in my ass for over a month.
Alrighty. Well, for when we do reconvene in the future, whenever that may be, what is your next topic gonna be?
Have you ever heard of black-eyed kids?
Like the black-eyed peas, but with children?
No.
Okay, then no.
Well, like,
no,
I mean, the wordplay, yes, but no, so it's like a conspiracy theory or a lure that they are able to look identical to a normal person, a normal kid. They're able to sound like a person that you know. So let's say Grayson, right? So they're able to look exactly like Grayson, sound like Grayson. They do have a little bit of like weird verbiage that they use sometimes. And the only real way you can tell that they are not Grayson is by looking in their eyes. They have black eyes. And they're like, they want to kill you or do something. It's very interesting. So I think that's what I'm going to cover next time we meet.
That is interesting, but that can also describe a normal Tuesday night in the Metlin household. So makes me wonder.
I mean, your child is the demon, so I would agree with that.
She's getting better. Like there are moments where Evan and I will be like, kid, you can't say shit like that around your auntie because it's just going to raise questions and solidify her suspicions. But she's definitely showing more empathy in life these days. So that's good. She feels bad about things. So we're on.
Or she's learned that humans possess empathy and she's learned to mimic it like a parrot.
Right. She's the best masker I have ever met.
There you go.
Alrighty. Well,
okay. So if anyone would like to contact us for any reason, we can be reached at our email, which is crackedsistersconspiracies@gmail.com. You can email us just to tell us hi. You can give us episode suggestions of something that you want us to cover. You could give us some sort of feedback, but nice feedback.
Please.
Yeah, we're new. We know. Okay.
I'm very sensitive.
We have an Instagram account with the same name. We have a Twitter account that we don't know how to use, but hey, we created it, and I know you're supposed to use some hashtags.
Twitter is very confusing.
It is. I don't
makes
get
no
it.
sense to me.
I've never been a tweeter, a twatter. We also have a Patreon that is up and running by the same name, Cracked Sisters Conspiracies. Should you feel so kind as to donate $1, make us holler. We would be ever so grateful. There's 3 different tiers. You can learn all about them. We're not asking for much.
We're not needy bitches.
We're not needy bitches. We're just broke bitches. But yeah, so those are the ways that you can reach us if you so please.
Awesome.
That's about it.
Until next time.
You guys have a good day.